Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Christian Esguera and welcome to our episode for tonight here on our Facts First podcast. So today is August 8, 2024. Maraming salamat po as always sa patuloy niyo pong pagsuporta dito po sa ating Facts First podcast. Meron po tayong special na episode ngayong gabi na inhanda po natin dahil alam ko po marami po sa inyo ay sinusubaybayan ito pong ongoing hearings both sa Senate at saka dito po sa House of Representatives pagdating po dito sa POGO syndicates. At kasama po rito yung pagdinig na isinasagawa kaugnay po dito sa possible involvement ni dating presidential spokesman Harry Roque dito po sa illegal POGO operations. Naalala niyo po ba yung first hearing sa Senate kung saan nag-appear po si Attorney Harry Roque? Diba? Sinabi ko na po sa inyo before, we had a separate episode about that. Sabi ko mismo, personally, ang feeling ko was mukhang nakalusot doon si Harry Roque dahil mukhang pinangunahan niya ng galit. And I don't think there was any lawyer from the panel of senators who quizzed him during that particular hearing. Pero it doesn't mean na nakalusot naman siya entirely. No? Ibig sabihin, parang hindi lang siya na-corner. But the following day, kung naalala nyo po, no? And I think this video clips of this congressional hearing, the following day sa House of Representatives, there was one congresswoman who was able to, in the words of many netizens, ang observation sa kanya, and I share this observation, na-corner si Harry Roque. Hindi siya nakalusot. 'Di ba? Wala siya nalusutan kasi yung pagkakalatag ng predicates doon sa tinutumbok ni Congresswoman, talaga napakalinis. And ako observation ko, sabi ko, parang ano to si Congresswoman silent assassin. Nakangiti. Pero meron siyang tinutumbok. Okay? So this Congresswoman po ang ating special guest for tonight dito po sa ating Facts First podcast. Busy po siya. So nagpapasalamat po tayo at napaunlakan po yung ating invitation for her to appear on our Facts First podcast. So I'd like to welcome to our program si Batangas 2nd District Representative Jervil Luistro. Magandang gabi po, Congresswoman, and thank you for joining us here dito po sa Facts First for the first time.
Good evening and thank you, Christian, also for having me here.
No, maraming salamat po. No? Aware naman siguro kayo sa mga comments on social media regarding how you conducted that inquiry, yung Q&A kay Harry Roque. Napapanood niyo po ba?
Somehow, but I'm not really into it, no? I use Facebook only. The rest I'm not really familiar with, no?
Okay.
Pero I am hearing from the people around, maganda daw yung naging appreciation about our engagement in the
Yes, so.
last two committee hearings
Mm-mm.
about Pogo.
That's very true. Ang ganda nung response because the way you laid down the arguments and the points that you raised in that Q&A with Harry Roque, napakalinis. Pero before that siguro dun sa mga hindi familiar sa inyo po, no? Gaano katagal na po ba kayo diyan sa Kongreso?
This is actually my first term and to share with you, no, Christian. This was actually my first time to engage in politics.
Hmm.
Hindi po tayo naging kapitan, hindi po tayo naging mayor, and we are so fortunate sapagkat ang sabi nga ng taga Batangas, unang salpok, panalong congresswoman. Kaya salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan sa Batangas 2nd District.
Okay, bali first term niyo pala as a house member. Pero before that, ano po ba yung background niyo? Yun ang marami nagtatanong, no, na curious, no? Ano bang background ni Congresswoman as a lawyer? Kasi napakalinis talaga ng pagkakalatag. Can you talk a bit about that po,
Well,
your background?
Christian, bukod sa we are a lawyer by profession, no? Siguro naging malaking tulong din sa akin yung pagiging law professor ko sa aking alma mater kung saan po ako ay nagtapos din ng abogasya, University of Batangas College of Law. Since I passed the bar in 2002, tayo po ay naging full-time law professor until I think 2007.
Okay.
And simultaneous to that, I joined the Department of Justice as well as one of the state counsels in the legal department of the DOJ. And then after some time, tayo po ay nagtrabaho naman bilang lead investigator ng Special Presidential Task Force 156. This was during the time of former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo.
Mm. So, all in all, gaano kahaba yung experience nyo in the practice before you joined the politics?
Although iba't ibang field yung pinanggalingan natin, no? Kasi after SPTF 156, I even worked in the local government as legal counsel, and then during the time of my husband as mayor of Mabini, I was the municipal administrator. But if I will be counting it from the time na tayo po'y nakapasa ng bar exam, so it started in 2002 up to the
2002.
present.
Oo. Ah, hindi ko na maalala itong Special Presidential Task Force 156. Ano po ba uli ito? Yung panahon ni Gloria
This
Macapagal
is
Arroyo?
actually the task force which took down the one-stop shop center of the Department of Finance, involved in the issuance or involved in tax credit scam. Alam mo,
Okay.
Christian, during the time of PGMA, nagkaroon po ng anomaly about the issuance of tax credit certificates, no? Ito pong tax credit certificates na to ay ibinibigay nating incentive sa mga kumpanya which engage in exportation
Mm.
because they help us grow our economy. Kaya kumbaga as incentive, binibigyan natin sila ng tax credit certificate, or in short we call it TCC. Kaya lang we discovered na ito pala, gumagawa sila ng mga peking companies. Kunyari, merong mga exportation companies, and then apply sila ng TCCs. Tapos yung TCCs na ito, ginagamit natin for the payment of taxes. We
Okay.
discovered this big anomaly in the one-stop shop center of the DOF during that time. And because of these cases na ating naimbestigahan, as a matter of fact, na-file to sa ombudsman, marami pong natanggal sa trabaho sa DOF, and ito rin po ang dahilan kung bakit inabolish yung one-stop shop center ng Department of Finance during that time.
So that explains kung bakit hindi na kayo alien dito sa ganitong mga pagtatanong sa Kongreso, no? Pero can you talk about the difference because you said this was your first time to venture into politics, at least kayo yung nandyan talaga no, nakapronta sa mababang kapulungan. Can you talk about the adjustments and the differences?
Well, Christian, what's happening to me now is it's like I am able to utilize everything that I learned, I acquired sa lahat po ng aking mga naging experience in the past, no? Tayo po'y naging guro, tayo po ay abogado. In fact, naging school directress din po tayo at naging investigador din tayo. Tapos, nag-render din po tayo ng napakaraming legal opinion in our work in the DOJ. I think the accumulation of our experience, the knowledge, the wisdom, the training that we had ay nagsama-sama po sa ating pagtugon sa ating tungkulin ngayon bilang representative ng Batangas 2nd District, miyembro ng ika-11 na Kongreso ng Pilipinas. And like what I was explaining yesterday during the committee hearing, ito naman pong pagiging isang mambabatas, it does not necessarily mean na ang gagawin mo lang ay magpasa ng batas. Because no less than the Philippine Constitution grants us the power to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation para
Yes.
mas mapabuti pa po namin ang aming trabaho bilang mambabatas. We can conduct investigation, and the results of the investigation will help and guide us kung paano pa namin pagagandahin at pabubutihin yung mga batas na ipinapasa ng Kongreso.
Nalinaw po yan. Tsaka syempre kasama po yung inyong oversight function
Yes,
as a
of
Congress.
course.
Okay. So, eto, curious po ako, no? Let's go specific doon sa mga tinanong nyo kay Attorney Harry Roque. Kasi parang naturally sa ibang mga ordinaryong tao, they could feel na baka intimidating yung si Harry Roque. Kasi matalas yung pananarita, tapos mukhang masungit, mataray, papangunahan ka. Was that a factor, or were those a factor in your case when you were preparing to ask him those questions?
The only thing I am aware of about Attorney Harry Roque is we are considering him as one of our legal experts, but I did not actually took note of those impressions that the people are saying about him. Basta from our end, Christian, we just focus on the investigation, the things that I really wanted to hear from him dahil sobra din tayo na curious dun sa issue ng attorney-client. As a matter of fact, ako'y nag-alala para sa mga law students, baka kako makonfuse sila. So,
Mm-mm.
I had to anchor my interpellation dun sa basic, fundamental concept and definition ng attorney-client relationship. In
Mm-mm.
other words, Christian, hindi tayo nag-focus sa sino ba si Harry Roque. We just focus on the issue which is on hand.
Okay. Sige, pag-usapan natin yung lawyer-client relationship. No? I suppose you're also thinking of your students and going back to your long career sa academe when you were asking those questions. No? Gawin po natin itong episode na ito na teaching opportunity. Konting background lang para makarelate po yung ating mga viewers and listeners. Ang claim kasi ni Harry Roque sa ating mga viewers, hindi raw po siya nag-abogado doon sa kumpanya sa likod ng Pogo Hub na ni-raid sa Porac, Pampanga, which is Lucky South 99. Sabi niya, abogado siya ng Whirlwind. Ito po yung kumpanyang nagpapaupa ng property na inuupahan ng Lucky South. Kaso, nagpunta siya on several occasions sa Pagcor. Sabi niya, representing Cassie Leong at abogado lang daw siya ni Cassie at saka ng Whirlwind. Okay. Doon niyo po siya natumbok no? Can you explain to us the dynamics, yung tinatawag na lawyer-client relationships? Tsaka nakalimutan ko po, no? 'Di ba doon sa dokumento, nakalabas yung pangalan niya na legal ng Lucky South 99. Kindly explain all those complications po sa ating po mga viewers.
Well, apparently, may kasabihan tayo, Christian, no? Action speaks louder than words, no? The circumstances surrounding Harry Roque and Lucky South 99 really indicates that there is an existing attorney-client relationship. As a matter of fact, ilang beses siya nag-follow up sa PAGCOR, inadmit niya yan. Sinamahan niya si Cassie Ong, representative of PAGCOR, doon sa PAGCOR to follow up the the arrears which is allegedly they're trying to fix the penalty no of Lucky South. And not only that, Christian, inadmit din niya na ilang beses niya tinext si Attorney Fernandez following up kung ano ng status ng Lucky South, no? So, from all these incidents, sino ba ang magbe-benefit dun sa lahat ng ginagawa niyang yon? 'Di ba Lucky South? In
Mm.
other words, sino ba? Kaninong interest ba ang nire-represent niya? Lucky South pa rin.
Mm.
It is very hard to conceive na I am the lawyer of Cassie Ong but not Lucky South. Kasi si Cassie Ong ang nire-represent niya, Lucky South pa rin. So, whatever denial he make, let us stick to the fact na nag-render siya ng advice. Nag-render siya ng service. And from that alone, kahit walang kontrata, kahit walang payment ng legal fees, ng attorney's fees, it is very clear that an attorney-client relationship is established.
Yung attorney-client relationship na yan po, no? How do you determine when that actually starts?
Like what the definition provides, no, and the various jurisprudence in the Philippines provide, no, uh, the moment the client seeks advice from an attorney and the attorney starts giving advice to the client, the relationship of the client attorney is already created.
It doesn't have
That's
to be
that's how
formalized, no?
instant it is, no?
Okay.
That's how instant it is. That is why the lawyers need to be careful as well. Kasi kung nakapagbigay ka ng advice, let us say for example sa isang complainant, nag-seek ng advice sa yung complainant and then suddenly lumapit sa iyo yung kalaban niya dun sa kaso trying to engage his service in the canon of legal profession, ethical na unethical na natanggapin mo pa itong kasong ito because theoretically speaking, yung nangyaring pagbibigay ng advice mo doon sa complainant, nagkaroon na ng attorney-client relationship.
Congresswoman, yung kine-claim niya na ano, hindi raw niya alam kung bakit o paano lumabas yung pangalan niya doon sa organizational chart ng Lucky South 99. At ang binabanggit niya, una pa lang doon sa Senado, dapat daw kausapin yung magte-testify na nakakita kung paano nailagay yung pangalan niya doon sa organizational chart. Is that a valid defense or a strong defense to distance
Christian,
himself from Lucky South 99?
let us go back to his own representation, no? Ano ba sabi niya? All along ang kausap niya lagi si Cassie Ong. Wala siyang ibang kausap kundi si Cassie Ong. Sino ba si Cassie Ong? From his own admission, he's also the representative of Lucky South.
Yes.
So, how can it be possible na napunta ang pangalan niya without him knowing it?
Okay.
Ang sinasabi niya sa atin, walang ibang pwedeng makausap sa Lucky South kundi si Cassie Ong. As a matter of fact, he went to the extent saying, ang mga Chinese ang mga nandun, wala kang makakausap dun. They don't know how to speak English, no? Kaya yung buong conversation nilang yun, contractual relationship or whatsoever, si Cassie Ong lang lagi ang tinuturo niya. But from his own admission, si Cassie Ong ay representative din ng Lucky South.
Mm-mm.
So
And I
paano
think
nga nangyari na nandun yung pangalan niya? 'Di ba? It's only between him and Cassie Ong.
yung ano naman po, Congresswoman, yung pag-follow up ni Harry Roque sa PAGCOR regarding the arrears or the license of Lucky South 99, but still claiming that he was representing only Cassie Leong, kasama ba yun sa trabaho ng isang abogado na mag-follow up sa PAGCOR?
Yes, of course. Alam mo, meron tayong principle sa batas. Res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. Bakit ka nagfa-follow up ng arrears ng PAGCOR, ng Lucky South? 'Di ba? Bakit ka pumupunta sa PAGCOR to fix the interest of Lucky South? Bakit mo sinasamahan si Cassie Ong who represents Lucky South? Res ipsa loquitur. I am here because I am representing Lucky South.
So pretty much ano na yan, malinaw na po, no? At least sa pagtingin niyo po diyan sa komite na si Harry Roque was lawyering for Lucky South 99.
With all due respect sa kanya, but it is really my humble submission na it is crystal clear there is an attorney-client relationship between Lucky South and attorney Harry Roque.
Pag ganun po, kasi nung nakausap po namin nung the other day yung PAOK through the spokesperson si Mr. Winston Casio, sabi niya, isa sa mga kakasuhan ng interagency uh, committee ay yung si Harry Roque at kabilang nga po si Harry Roque doon sa 12 na subject no immigration watch list. Okay? So, dito, yung connection ni Harry Roque na yan dito sa Lucky South 99, naturally talaga madadamay siya kung magkakaso. Tama po ba?
Yes, Christian. Kasi if kahit abogado ka, if you knowingly allowed this company to commit crimes, violations of revised penal code dito sa ating bansa, it means that you become a principal by direct participation. 'Di ba? If not principal by inducement, then you become a principal by direct participation. Ibig sabihin kasama ka na eh. Hindi naman kasama doon sa trabaho ng abogado. Pagkita mong illegal yung pogo, pabayaan mo lang. Knowingly, pababayaan mo operation ng isang pogo na hindi naman license ng PAGCOR. That is not part of the job of a lawyer. And that is contrary likewise to our code of legal profession, no? So, it is really my opinion na kung ano man ang nakita nilang infractions, violations of the law committed by Lucky South 99 under the watch of Attorney Harry Roque, I think the Philippine government has a cause of action against Attorney Harry Roque.
Can that also
Especially,
be a cause?
especially if we have evidence to establish na alam niya yung illegalities na nangyayari sa Lucky South. Well, kung hindi niya alam, ang hirap namang i-deny no, no? Hindi ko po alam na wala palang lisensya ang Pogo. Eh, abogado ka nga, paano hindi mo alam? 'Di ba? Hindi
Dapat
ko
alam
po
mo.
alam na wala ho palang ACR ang mga empleyadong Chinese na naririto. 'Di ba? Hindi ko po alam na ito po palang mga incorporators na ito ay hindi totoong Pilipino. Sila po pala ay Chinese nationals. Hindi ko po alam na may nangyayari po palang mga kidnapping, torture, so on and so forth dito sa Pogo na ito. Let us assume na ito nga ay mga infractions ng Lucky South, no? Subject to the condition na meron sufficient evidence that will establish na alam ito lahat ni Attorney Roque, then he becomes part of the crime.
So pwede rin po itong cause of action to file a disbarment case against him?
Sad to say, yes. Yes.
Okay. Kasi ang isa sa mga kiniklaim niya, nung humarap daw siya sa PAGCOR, nagpa-follow up, hindi pa naman daw illegal yung wala pa naman daw nangyayaring raid, no? Although pinaalala sa kanya ng PAOK, I think 2021 pa lang nagkaroon na ng raid diyan sa Pogo Hub na yan, no? It was something that he could not have missed dahil napakalaki no. So that fact can also be used to controvert the fact that he was feigning ignorance. Tama po ba doon sa nangyari na yan?
Yes. Yes, Christian, no? At kasi nanggagaling na rin sa sarili niyang admission eh. Ano ba ang sabi niya? Puros Chinese yun. The only person na nakakausap ay si Cassie Ong. Ibig sabihin dalawa lang Pilipino ang nakakaalam on what is going on. Cassie Ong, who is the representative, at si Atty. Roque, who is the lawyer. No? In other words, lahat ng ginagawa ng Pogo doon, ng Chinese nationals doon, di naman nila yung kayang gawin without the help and indispensable cooperation, ika nga, ng mga Filipino. Kaya, it is really sad to think, no? Pero the way I see it, ay napakahirap for the Chinese nationals na mag-perpetrate ng crime, illegal activities without the indispensable cooperation ng ating mga kababayan dito sa Pilipinas.
So isa yan sa mga tinutumbok po ng pagdinig nyo. Yung enablers.
I do not want to preempt the investigation, but we have initial evidence to show and to establish na there's really a link between them and these illegal pogos.
Okay. Puntahan naman po natin yung property sa Tuba Benguet. Kanina may napanood po akong panayam ni Harry Roque. Hindi nga siya masyado natumbok doon eh. Pero ang claim niya, bukod sa lahat daw ito ay part ng political harassment sa kanya at dinidikit niya doon sa Polvoron video, but that's another issue. And that's a fake video by the way sa mga viewers natin. No? Ang claim niya, I have an interest but I'm not the registered owner noong Tuba Benguet property kung saan may naaresto ang PAOK at Bureau of Immigration na isang high-profile Chinese fugitive at isa pang Chinese national at doon din hinahanap yung person of interest na nangungupahan sa property na ito. Hinga po, kindly educate us regarding this. No? I have an interest but I'm not the registered owner of that Tuba Benguet property.
What I understand, Christian, dito sa property na ito ay pag-aari ng isang kumpanya. I could not recall the name of the corporation, no?
PH2, tapos under the
Yes.
holding company na Biancham.
Pagkatapos, si Harry Roque ay may-ari or one of the stockholders of this company.
Yes. At in the
And
process
that,
daw siya of taking over.
yeah, and that is the reason why he could deny as well. He couldn't deny as well the ownership of certain interest over that property, no? At nakakalungkot din pong isipin na sobrang coincidence naman na itong dalawang Chinese national na ito, dalawang pogo operator, yung isa wanted pa, dito pa nakatira sa sariling pag-aaring bahay ni Attorney Harry Roque sa Tuba, Benguet, no? Kumbaga, Christian, ang daming dots. We are connecting the dots na hindi natin ine-expect when we started the investigation na ganito ba ka-overflowing yung mga may establish natin na facts as we go along with our investigation.
Ang isang kine-claim niya po diyan ay hindi naman daw niya alam na papapuntahin nung umuupat dun sa property na yon yung Chinese fugitive. Is that a valid excuse kung ganun kalaki yung issue na merong kriminal na natagpuan doon sa kanyang property?
You know, there are separate incidents like his connection with Lucky South, his connection with Cassie Ong, the documents that were found in their office ba yun?
Dun
Or
sa
place of residence.
dun sa Porac
Plus,
Pogo Hub, no? Yung may
yeah,
bank
kung
bank
ididikit mo pa
statements.
ito, taken together, medyo napaka-improbable na para paniwalaan na hindi niya alam, no? Siguro kung ito lang yung incident that will link him to Pogo, we can assume na baka nga hindi. Kaso, may Lucky South pa eh. May mga documents pang na-recover sa kanya. Tapos, ito pang property sa Tuba Benguet kung saan nakita itong mga Pogo operator, parang, parang little by little ay lumalabas lahat ng information na connected with each other, no? Plus, if I may add, Christian, yung interpellation ko kahapon sa kanya,
Mm.
yung EO13 kung saan nag-umpisa lahat ng Pogos, it was during the time that he was the spokesperson of the president. So, ano bang meron? Bakit, bakit naman timing na 2017, spokesperson siya ng president, nilabas yung EO13, pagkatapos, may nahuling Chinese national sa Tuba Benguet, Pogo operator, property pala niya. Pagkatapos may nahuling document sa Porac, linking him also to the Pogo companies. Pagkatapos may Kasiong na connected pala dito sa Lucky South na dinideny niyang he is lawyering for. Parang, Christian, nagsabay-sabay na eh. Na if taken together, no? If taken together, there is no other reasonable conclusion but to think na may connection between him and all these pogos.
Meron pang isa ako naalala kasi sa pagdinig niyo po, the first one, I think under questioning from Congressman Johnny Pimentel, if I'm not mistaken, at least twice sinabi ni Harry Roque, sa aking bahay, despite the fact that he had been distancing himself from the Tuba Benguet house. Pero siya mismo nadulas sa aking bahay. Gaano po ba ka-crucial yan?
What I recall, Christian, is he admitted it during the committee hearing, during our first committee hearing,
Yes.
na sa kanya yung bahay. Sa kanya yung bahay. And it follows kung sa iyo yung bahay, dapat alam mo kung sino nakatira, 'di ba?
Mm.
That is the natural consequence. Bahay mo eh. Nagpapaupa ka eh. So at least you should know kung sino itong mga taong ito.
Ayun,
So I think for me the burden of proof rests upon him na talaga hindi niya alam na yung mga taong yun pala ay POG operator at yung isa wanted pa.
Ang kine-claim niya kasi, hindi raw niya kilala yung dalawang naaresto, pero yung hinahanap na person of interest, yun yung nangungupahan sa kanya. At ang sabi niya, di ba, dun sa pagdinig ninyo, naka-lunch pa raw niya before sa Los Angeles. Tapos, hininga naman daw niya, nung bago niya paupahan, yung bahay doon sa babae, ng alien na certificate of registration at meron naman daw na ipakita. Yung bang mga bagay na binabanggit niya, allegedly, would that suffice to meet the requirement of conducting due diligence as a property owner?
Yes, and I remember yan yung naging line of questions ni Congressman Adjong sa kanya kahapon because he keeps on denying. He's denying his connection with Lucky South. He's denying his connection with this these Chinese nationals na wanted pala, nakatira sa kanyang bahay. Meron tayong tinatawag na diligence of a good father of the family, na at least you should have check sino ba itong mga taong ito. Magpapapasok ka ng ibang tao sa sarili mong bahay, hindi mo ba i-check muna kung sino sila? So I think the natural course of things dictate otherwise, na kung ganitong ang mga taong pinatira mo sa sarili mong bahay ay wanted at sasabihin mo ay hindi mo alam, hindi mo kilala. Pagkatapos all along i-admit mo na naka-lunch mo pa in the past sa LA, how else will you deny that?
Ito pala, kung gusto mo, puntahan natin yung pinunto niya naman kahapon, yung Executive Order number 13. For the benefit of our viewers, ito basically yung Executive Order ni President Rodrigo Duterte. Tama ba that legitimize POGO operations aside from the law that taxed POGOs? Tama po ba? Dalawa
Okay.
yan eh.
Yeah. Kasi the reason why I raised the issue of Executive Order number 13, uh, the law which really creates PAGCOR is PD 1869, no?
Mm-mm.
Ito PD 1869, ito yung nagbigay ng first franchise sa PAGCOR. Usually it is 25 years. Maglapse siya ng 1983. So pinasa ng Kongreso itong 9487 to extend the term of PAGCOR 2007 to 2032. Ito yung bagong term niya, no? Kaya lang, all of a sudden, lumabas itong EO13 na for the very first time ay lumutang yung salitang online gaming. Something which was not mentioned in PD 1869, something which was not mentioned in RA 9487, no? Ang pinupunto po natin kahapon, it is fundamental under the 1987 Constitution na may tatlong branches ng government.
Mm-mm.
We have the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Sila po'y may kanya-kanyang powers at bawal saklawan ang kapangyarihan ng bawat isa. Ito po yung tinatawag natin sa batas na principle of separation of powers. The executive implements the law, the legislative enacts the law, and the judiciary interprets the law. The moment you encroach upon the power of the other branch of the government, dun po pumapasok yung tinatawag nating violation of the principle of separation of power. This is very fundamental under the 1987 Constitution, no? Ito po isa sa mga importanteng feature ng ating kasalukuyang saligang batas na dapat ay hiwa-hiwalay ang kapangyarihan ng tatlong branches ng ating gobyerno. Now, talking about gambling, gaming, PAGCOR, the statutory law is RA 9487, no? Ito pong RA 9487, walang binanggit na online gambling. As a matter of fact, ang definition niya ng gambling dito, yung cards, cockfighting, ano pa ba yan? Mahjong, mga betting, in other words, hindi online. Hindi online. So, etong online is something which is so new that was never mentioned in RA 9487. Ang pinupunto ko dito, Christian, kung gusto nyong mag-online gaming, dapat sinabi nyo sa Kongreso if we can pass a law. Because the power to enact laws belongs to the Congress. But what happened is, nagpasa sila ng Executive Order number 13, and then suddenly lumutang doon yung pangalang online gaming. And then it brought an impression, it gave an impression na okay na ang online gaming. At ang PAGCOR, dire-diretso na nag-issue ng license.
Okay.
If you will check, no? If you will check, Christian, sapagkat tayo po yung member ng public accounts, member ng dangerous drugs, deputize sa public order and safety, no? Ang napansin ko po talaga observation, ito sinabi ko agad sa mga chairman eh. Sabi ko, are you trying to, no, are you noticing already? Pare-parehas yung dates. Pare-parehas yung mga Chinese nationals na lumulutang. It seems to me na parang connected ito lahat. Yung nahuling droga sa Mexico, Pampanga, yung pamimili ng maraming lupa ng Chinese nationals sa Pampanga, and then itong mga lumulutang na pogo dito sa Pampanga, all of them happened during the same time. At
Like,
itong mga ito rin ay pare-parehas ang Chinese personalities na lumulutang and even government officials behind them. And sobrang nakakalungkot lang na unti-unti parang nagkakaroon kami ng theory na ito bang pangyayaring ito ay produkto ng isang malaking plano lamang? This is what we're trying to discover, Christian, no? Kung anong koneksyon nitong mga pangyayaring ito sa bawat isa. Bakit pare-parehas na Chinese nationals ang nadi-discover namin? Kung sino lumulutang na pangalan sa dangerous drugs, yun din ang lumulutang sa pamimili ng ekta-ektaryang lupa dito sa Pampanga. At yun din ang lumulutang ng mga may-ari ng Pogos.
when you say time frame, anong time frame po yung na-identify nyo rito? Kung saan halos nagkasabay-sabay lahat po yan.
When I last checked the questionable reclassification of land in Pampanga, in Mexico, Pampanga, to be specific, ang nakita kong date is 2017 to
Right?
2019.
Okay, right after
And
the EO.
I am not certain, nagkataon ba to? Nagkataon ba to? Ang EO13 po is 2017.
Mm-mm. Okay. Mukhang ano yan. Yun ang tinitingnan nyo kung merong big scheme involved.
Yes.
Kumbaga,
We're
whether the
trying to see,
EO13,
we're trying to see kung anong connection mayroon ng mga pangyayaring ito, kung ito ba'y connected sa bawat isa. You remember yung ating kinombine na committees? These are 4 committees, no?
yung quad.
Committee on Dangerous Drugs, ano pa ba? Public Order and Safety, and then we have, no, Public Order and Safety, Public Accounts, and then Human Rights, no? Uh, in other words, Christian, ang lumulutang na pangalan at pangyayari leads to one and the same direction. At ito po ang pinipilit nating pag-aralan sa ating ongoing investigation dito sa Quad Committee.
Di ba ano rin po yan? Ito syempre, first time nyo dyan sa house, no? Pero sa pagtingin ninyo, etong ganitong klaseng investigation would not have been possible under the previous administration even if there were very strong indications that there were illegal or at the very least questionable activities happening. Pero kasi ibang
Hello,
political
Christian,
climate ng time na yan.
I cannot speak for the past administration, no? Because sabi ko nga sa iyo, this is my first term. But I
Yes,
can speak for the present administration. The president has pronounced already total ban on all pogos. Hindi din naman po siya tumigil ang ating presidente sa ating laban sa drugs. So I think the administration is determined to put an end to all these illegal activities.
okay. Dun
Let
po
us
sa ano,
hope and pray na magkaroon ng kaliwanagan itong investigation na ito. Bagaman we are very much challenged. You know why, Christian? Itong mga Chinese nationals, ang dami nilang pangalan. So, ang number 1 challenge namin is how to establish their identity. Pag na-establish namin yung identity, ang sunod namin challenge, how to locate their whereabouts. And it is sad to say, bago pa namin matapos itong dalawang challenges na to, nakatakas na yung Chinese national. Just like what happened to Mayor Alice Goo.
bilang
Diba?
ano pang bilang panghuling punto kasi mukhang busy kayo. Okay. Na sabi nyo, so may tanong, no? Sabi nyo, pinanood ko yung pagtatanong nyo kahapon, no? So basically, ang argument nyo, the former president legislated and encroached on the powers of Congress when he came up with Executive Order number 13. Now, moving forward, does it mean na illegal from the very beginning itong pag-legitimize ng Pogos na ito kung yung pinaka-pinanggagalingan na nag-legitimize sa kanya on paper was questionable?
I wish to raise the same principle that was shared to us by Attorney Harry Roque yesterday. Tama po yung sinasabi niya na lahat na executive issuances, unless challenged before the Supreme Court, they are presumed valid and
Valid.
legal. So,
Mhm.
ito rin po yung isang challenge ko sapagkat ang aking personal conviction talagang nagkaroon ho ng encroachment sa legislative power when they issued EO number 30. Well, it depends on the administration if they will pursue to question the legality of this EO 13 in the face of the pronouncement of the president to put a total end to all these pogos. Kasi we are inclined, no? We are inclined, Christian, to pass a law that will really put an end to all the pogo operations in the Philippines. So, if that is the direction of the Congress already, I think going to the Supreme Court to seek the declaration of unconstitutionality of EO 13 is already moot and academic. Ba't pa ako pupunta sa Supreme Court para ipa-declare ko siyang moot and academic if we already have this law being passed, being drafted, which will put an end to all the POGO operations in the Philippines.
Pero pag ganyan, 'di ba, ang congresswoman, kailangan ding i-amend yung batas na nagbubuwis sa mga pogos.
Yes. But the moment we pass a law na nagto-total ban na, pinopronounce
Okay.
na natin, bawal na, magiging moot and academic na rin yung issue ng pagbubuwis sa lahat ng mga pogos.
Okay, tatamaan na rin 'yan. Okay, maraming maraming salamat po, Congresswoman Jervil Luistro. And again, thank you for accepting our invitation for this interview. Alam ko busy-busy kayo. Huminto pa kayo sa sa kalye para dito sa interview.
Narito po
Maraming
tayo
maraming salamat po.
sa ating distrito sa lalawigan ng Batangas at syempre po batiin ko lang yung aking mga kababayan. Largang Webes ng hapon po sa lahat ng mga taga Batangas 2nd District. Maraming salamat, Christian.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Sige. Si Congresswoman Jervil Luistro. Okay? Malinaw po yung ating panayam sa kanya, no? So, at least malinaw yung pagkakalatag na magiging direksyon ng mga congressional hearings na ito at meron mga tinutumbok sila dyan, no? Importante yung sinabi niya ng bandang huli, no? So, sinisilip nila kung meron ba talagang big scheme involved. Um, that started with the issuance of an executive order, yung number 13 ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. At dahil doon, di ba, sabi niya, nagkaroon ng conversion sa lupa, tapos pumasok yung mga Chinese, etc., etc., and then namayagpag yung mga pogo. Ito yung mga detalyeng kailangan nating malaman. Kasi sa unang pagtingin, napaka-obvious naman, di ba? Kailan po ba namayagpag itong mga pogos na ito? Di ba nung panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte? Tapos, maganda yung pinunto niya, di ba? Yung mga ang dami raw dots and so many coincidences. Kunwari involving Harry Roque na hindi mo siya pwedeng tingnan separately. Diba? So, ilang beses po natin na-discuss yan. So, importante po na masundan natin itong issue na ito at matutukan. Okay? So, wag niyo rin kayong wag kayong basta-basta maniniwala ron sa claim na hindi political harassment lang yan, no? Political harassment kung walang nakikitang hard evidence or pieces of evidence or strong indicators of possible involvement in an illegal activity. Pero kung meron, dapat managot. So yung sinasabi ni Harry Roque na political harassment lang yan, tapos dinidikit pa niya sa pulveron video, pag po kayo maliligaw sa mga ganon, no? Sa mga ganong squid tactics. Let's stick to the issues, let's stick to the facts, and hold people accountable if they need to be held accountable. So sundan po natin lahat dyan. Okay, bago po tayo magtapos, meron po tayong ilang mga babatiin dito po sa ating programa. Ito, nag-message po sa atin si Meryl Ann. Ayan, greetings from the land of the long white cloud, New Zealand. Ayan, binabati po natin si Ann Lorena sa kanyang birthday bukas, August 9. Ayan, she's an avid fan of yours and always watches your show. Thank you very much. Nako, maraming salamat po. So, hi sa'yo and happy birthday in advance, Ann Lorena. Ayan, birthday niya tomorrow, August 9. Maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsuporta mo. And shout out na rin kay Meryl Ann. And then, nag-message din sa atin. Ito, batiin muna natin, no? Ito. Binabati natin si Kristan Sehera. Ayan, isa po siyang OFW, currently based in Laos. Nako, sorpresa natin ito para sa'yo. Shoutout sa'yo, Kristan Sehera ng Laos. No? Maraming salamat sa pagsuporta mo. Nag-message kasi sa akin ng iyong girlfriend, si Maeve Kyle Rosel Sanyosa. Nako, napaka-sweet ng girlfriend mo. Talagang nag-kinontak niya ako, and then eto sabi niya, ayun, umorder daw, nagko-collect daw pala kayo ng Facts for Shirts. Yan, regalo niya sa iyo. Ako, maraming salamat. Nakakataba ng puso. Maraming salamat dito sa pagsuporta mo, Kristan. So, more power sa iyo at saka sa iyong girlfriend na si Maeve. Okay, so dyan na po muna nagtatapos yung ating panayam, ang ating episode ngayong gabi dito po sa ating Facts First Podcast. Bukas, kita-kita po tayo for another episode of our Facts First Podcast. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Magandang gabi po. And thank you very much as always for your continued support.